Well, welcome to our webinar today, to our weekly webinar series dox42 class, and today we are talking about the dox42 Word add-in. It is called From Zero to Hero. We will go completely through the entire process, from downloading, from installing, from whatever you need to start with your documents in Word. And actually, I see in the attendees list there are a lot of cool contacts. We have partners there, we have customers, we have friends and family, I would say, and also we have potential customers. So for all of you, there is something, and I will give you every tip I have, and I have a very tight content, so there's a lot of content, and I promise there is no slides. Maybe you just one, the agenda slide, and that's it, and then we jump hands-on into the live demo. Great. I will close the webcam right now because then you have a full screen mode that's better for you. And then we really start into the webinar. So, good. Then, as I promised, just one slide. This is our agenda slide, and we are doing the live demo, of course, just live demo, and we start from scratch. How can you download the add-in? And this is very important for all of you customers and partners. The update. I see a lot of old versions during the meetings, and this is not very good because we have very good updates. There are new features included, so just please do the update. It's 1 minute actually, and I will show you how you can do it easily, and then just do this at the end. And for the new customers, of course, we show you the installation of the add-in, how you can request a free key and start immediately, and then we go into the template design. And today I will just I will create a little contract, employee contract, and we will discuss input parameters, we will integrate images, and of course I will show you how to add conditions, and a lot of scenarios are bulk letter scenarios, so how we configure a bulk letter, I will show you that, of course, and then there's the other features such as dynamic tables and barcode, how you can include barcodes. At the end, I will show you a little bit about the tutorials. We have a lot of tutorials, and then maybe there is time for questions. If there is time, please just send your questions in the question box in your GoToWebinar panel. If there's no time, we will go to the questions. We will contact you afterwards and answer your all the questions, of course. So I see there are all the attendees are there. That is great. So let's start the demo. Okay, we are here on our website. This is where you can download the add-in, and there you see there is the little download button. Just you can click there, or in the modules and download, you find this download section. And so this is for you, new customers, for partners, for all of you. Just please, if you want to update your add-in, click on Office add-ins, then you have to accept the terms and conditions, and then you will get a zip file with all the enterprise versions, so Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And I did that before and have my enterprise package with version number 4162 on my desktop. And if you click in there, you see there are Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. And for you, the new customers, if you request a free key, what we do next, then you can use this one free key for all of your Excel Office edits. Good. And now back to the update situation. So if you have installed the add-ins and you want to update it, then just go to the Windows and go to System. Unfortunately, this is in German, my system, but no problem. It's called Programs and Features. That's actually kind of the same. You click here, then you look for your Office add-ins. In my case, it is a Word add-in, for example. So here you see Excel, PowerPoint, and then just click on it and click on deinstall. That's it. That's it. And you can start directly, open the file and say Word add-in, set up Excel. 1 minute later, everything is done. You have the update, you have the newest version. You don't even have to enter the free key. Just the new customers who never did it before, they need to enter the free key. And this is what we're doing now. So we go back to the website, and there's this contact button here. So click on contact, please. And here you see some options. So if you need a free key for the Office add-ins, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, click here on the free key. You also see there's the possibility to book a dox42 2 hours online workshop. So if you want, then of course we can please support you integrating your documents, integrating your data 2 hours for free. Just if you need this, tick the box. Then please enter your name. So we say here Fabian Huber, for example. So please just enter your name if it's possible. And we have a dummy email address. I will send this key to this address. And we say my company is dox42 in our case. Phone number, of course, +44 something, whatever your phone number is. And it would be great if you would leave a little message here. What do you want to achieve with dox42? What is your scenario? Is it shared? We are integrating in a lot of data sources and systems. Please, if you just leave a little comment, what do you want to achieve? Let's say contracts with SharePoint, for example, or with Excel. It doesn't matter. Again, just leave us a little comment. That would be great. And here, there's another thing. We have a news update. It is, we are not spamming you. Just, I highly recommend to tick this box, because then you get like 10 times a year in maximum. Maybe every 6 to 8 weeks, you will get a news update with all the new features, new things, new stuff, very important stuff. So please subscribe it. It's highly recommended. Then add the captcha, please, and click on send. Then afterwards, automatically there will be a key generated and sent to your email address. And I have my dummy account here. This is Michaela Mitarbeiter, you see. And here I did this before. There is the email you will get. You will receive that one immediately, and you can start immediately then. So you see, this one is the download link here. So you could click here and then download the Office package, but we already did this. So there is your key, just copy it, and then we enter it into the document. So this email, of course, is also generated with dox42. So we have server-side automation as well. So you can generate emails with dox42, of course, as well. Good. Then we did the admin stuff. Now we can start directly, and it is always highly recommended to start in a folder of the local directory. So if this is synchronized with your OneDrive or your SharePoint, please don't do it there, do it somewhere else where it's local. And I just have a folder here on my desktop, for example, and I open this folder and it's pretty empty. You see there is actually just one Excel file, and I have some images here from our employee list, from our employees. And this Excel employee list where all my employees are listed. And here, this is a good starting point. Do it in a folder. Okay, I'll quickly show you the Excel list that you see what we are doing then. And then we open a new Word document and start from scratch. So here it is. There is an ID data field, for example, because or number somehow for all the employees, and name, last name. There is a path to the path to the image and the name of the image. I will show you how we integrate then the images into the document. There's an address, for example. There's a birthday that might be interesting then, because it's a different format. It's a date format here. And there is some kind of hours per week, because we want to add a condition into the document and then show you how you can add sections or leave sections blank automatically. Good, then let's start from scratch. I open a new Word document here, and I call this one contracts, for example, in the same folder, right? This is in the same folder. Then I open this one. And now for you who never installed or never had the add-in before, after you have installed it, you have this ribbon here, dox42, there it is, you click here, and that might be gray in your case because the license key has to be added. And you just click on activate and copy paste the license key from your email into the license key field and click on activate, and then it's done. It looks then immediately the same like mine. Good, then let's start. We have to connect to our Excel data source, and I just did Excel, but you can do SharePoint, I can open this one right now, then you will see it. You can see all the data sources, SharePoint web services, databases, of course, then the CRM, SAP, finance operations. So you have a lot of possibilities to connect with our programming. These are additional modules. If you have a need to add this data sources, please, in the text box, when you request a free key, just enter the text. Then we know that we contact you and we help you because it's an additional module. You have to integrate this one as well. But yours supposed to be until here, the basic modules, SharePoint, Excel, everything is there. We start with Excel because we want to connect our Excel employee list. So I click on Excel, and first tip, please name the data source always with sense, because if you want to change it, if you need to change them afterwards, and if you have a lot of data sources, then it's becoming very complicated. Then maybe the document is done. You cannot change it anymore, because sometimes there are some relatives between some data fields, and then it is becoming very complicated. So just call it employee, for example, employees, and just do this always correctly. Then we click here on pick Excel file, and I have this Excel file in the same folder on my desktop. And this is the class start copy file, and here it is. This is in the same folder, so I select this Excel file here. Then you see there's the path, and I can click here on the ellipses, and then the Excel file is opening. And here it is. This is our Excel file. I can now select the range I would like to integrate. And there's the next tip. Of course, you can just select this range, the 3 of them. But I would not recommend do this, because in this list there might be a 4th employee, so this one would not be included then. So our tip is, in the beginning, just use the first line and then close the Excel file. Then it is set, okay, the sheet 1 A1 to G1, and here we say first row contains column names, so this is the name of the data fields, and then we say read until the first empty cell, and there please select the ID or something what is unique and what is always there. And here you have the possibility to change the names of the data fields, so if you need this, but I just leave it like this. Okay, I click OK, and now there is this little pencil. That means we have to save our data map. And this is what I'm doing. I can click here on File to save it, or I just click on X, then Save Changes, yes. And there is my the Explorer opening. We are here in the same folder. I call this one Contract. Same name as the document, but could be any name. And you see this is a DM file. That's the data map file. I click on Save, and here I will link the data map to the document relatively. So I say it is in the same directory, and then I can copy it wherever. I can copy the entire folder wherever. I can send it via email, whatever it is. If it's an absolute path, then that would not be possible. So I click OK, and now I have linked it correctly. Now let me add some data. First, we call this one employee contract. Example, then let's form it a little bit more beautiful. So and here it is, the first name, for example, and the last name. So I can start to generate this one directly immediately, but it would just insert the first name Alana Master from our list, and that's why we need an input parameter, and this is what I show you right now. So here is Alana Masters. This is from the Excel file. Looks good, but we need a little bit more selection possibilities, and that's the input parameter. So let me open the data map, and here's this next tip. You see the Excel file, and we just added the Excel file, and you see here this is the path, the direct path. But if I copy this one, the folder, to another folder or wherever else, then it wouldn't work. So I have to do this relative as well, and that's with our doc path variable. So if I select this one and click on doc path, that tells dox42, please search for the Excel file here, the employees file, in the same directory as my document is stored. Okay, this is highly recommended as well to do. So click OK, and then this is OK. And now we add the input parameter. So I have the input parameter here, clicking on input parameter, and say this one is ID, for example. And I can say, and I can add a comment, please select your employee. And there are different possibilities. I can just enter text, or I can select from a data source. So I have a drop down to select from all my employees, and this is what I would like to configure with you right now. So let me select it. Let me just, to do this, I need another data source. So just click here, OK, and save this one. It's there now. But to have the drop down, I need a second Excel file, and the second Excel file, and link it with my input parameter. So if I clone this one, you see there it is. There's another one, the copy file. This one I will connect to my input parameter, and then I will filter to the employees. It's a little bit complicated, but sounds complicated, but it isn't. So let me open the input parameter. Again, we say select from data source, and here is now the data source, my copy file. That shows me all the values, and I will always talk about the ID because this is unique. So I will take the value ID from the employee's copy, and display text should be the first name, for example. So now the input parameter is connected with this data source, and now I need to filter the input parameter with my data source. So I can add a filter, clicking on filter here, or on the right click, filter sort, and then there is this filter opening here, filter field, and again I will add the ID data field. I will filter it, which is numeric, with my selected employee input parameter field. That's it, because here I will select the ID exactly. Let's say it's 2, and then dox42 knows that it has to be the data from line number 2. Good, that's done. So I close this one here and say save the changes. And now I can say what I would like to do as well is I just want to format these data fields a little bit different. So this is, let's say, another font here. We take the Century Gothic, and it is supposed to be bold, and let's make it blue, something like this. And now I will save this one. I will generate a document, and now I can select my employees. You see Alana, Selina, Bernard. Click here, generate. And now Bernard will be integrated into the document correctly, and that was good. And it has a different format here. Good, and this is how you add your data field. So you say, I go here to this data, to this the cursor. This now again, let's make it black again and without bold. And here I can add now data, something like the address, and there is maybe a birthday. Here it is. And this is the next a little bit tricky field, which I would like to show you. First, I will add a dummy text here that looks a little bit like a contract. So let me add this one here. This is a little shortcut to get some dummy text. Perfect. And now we are talking about the birthday field. This is formatted as a date. And if I have a type here, and I have the possibility to format data fields here, such as a number or a date time. So I will have a date time right now, and here I can select which kind of format string I would like to have. So if I leave it like this, you will see, I generate this one, you will see there's also the time included. I don't want to have this, so let me show you this. We go for Alana again here. Also the day of that's not very good. I just want to have the date of birth. So let me format this field here. We just go to this and say day, month, year, without the timestamp. And there's the possibility to change the direction. Of course, I can month, day, and I can also add a culture. So if the system is English and I want to have it in German or whatever, then I can say here, there's the tooltip. I can transform it from EN to DE. So there are a lot of possibilities to format your date fields correctly. Then don't forget to click OK to have the changes accepted. And now we generate, and you will see there is the data field here. This is very German, and now we do it a little bit more English. Let's say it is month, and day, and now the culture, because my system is German, has to be changed to EN, and now it might look a little bit more familiar for all you English-speaking guys. Now it is 12/20/1985. So this is how you can format your date fields. Good, then let's move on because we are running out of time. We have a lot to do. There is an image. We have an image, and I add the image file here. You see, this is just where I can double tap or I can drag and drop the image. Yeah? And this is now a data field, and I would like to generate the document again, just to show you how it looks now. It is just the path to the image. And that's not an image, that's true. But we have to define it as an image, and then it is done. But I just show you how it works. So it says this is the employee pics folder, and here's the name of the image. It is in the same directory as my document. That's great for us, great news. because now I click on image and say tape type is an image, and we give a dimension here, something like 120. There's always tooltips, so you can check the fields if you don't forget it. And here, there's the directory we have to add. In SharePoint, it could be the URL as well. But here we are looking in the same folder. So I go to our doc path constant. We already know it. It is it was the same with the Excel file, so it will search in the same directory as the document. Here it is, doc path. That's it. And now it will search for it. I click OK. I define it as an image. And if I select it now and generate it now, you will see, let's do it with Alana. You see, here it is. There's my image. That looks great. Good. So what we also have for you, I said you can add conditions. So you can add your documents, you can add your conditions, and you can say there is some data, let me add here a line break and say in maximum hours per week, add this data field and say hours, something like this. I don't know. And it might be that this part of the contract is supposed to be for people with over 20 hours of working, or full-time or not only part-time. So I would like to add a condition, and I would insert this text block if if the employee is working over 20 hours. So I click on automate range, and I can add a condition now here. So I can select a data field, and we are talking about our hours per week. What I would like to do is now we say hours per week is bigger than 20. So we add this condition right now. I click OK. Then you see the text here. This is our condition text about this range. And now if the employee works over 20 hours, that will be inserted. If Selina, she is just working 20 hours, then it starts, the word text starts immediately directly from here. So let's start with Selina to show you how it looks like. Okay. Click on Selina, and you see in maximum 20 hours, so the text is not included. That's great. Then I want to generate it again for Alana, for example. I guess she's working 40 hours full-time, and you see the text is included. So you see, this is pretty easy to add conditions. In this case, we did it around the text block conditions, but you can also add a condition around the data field, for example. Just highlight it, click on automate range, and add your condition, and then this data, the data will be integrated or left blank. Good. Then I have something else for you. We have the bulk letter scenario, and I have a different way of input parameters, and I would like to show you this one because we only saw the dropdown, but sometimes you want to add some text. You want to just select it by your own, give the order number or something into the input parameter. That's also possible, of course. I don't need this one anymore because we don't need the dropdown anymore, and I open my input parameter, click here on text, click OK. That's it. I close this one here, save the changes, and now I have the possibility to add a text. So I have to add the ID now because we selected the ID and we filtered the ID. So I say 1 for, let's say 2 for Selina. It is, and of course, yeah, if you select 1, then the others are coming. So this is another way to generate, to add input parameters and to test your documents then here in the Word document. Good. So let's configure now a bulk letter. This is a question which comes a lot, and it's pretty easy. So we want to generate 3 contracts and store them in a folder as PDF. And this is what we're doing now. So I open the data map. I delete this input parameter. We don't need this anymore. I select my data source here, and also there's a filter included. So let me delete this one as well. We don't need the filter anymore. So here it is. I click here on bulk letter. Now I can configure my bulk letter. Doc path. We know doc path already. So here the question is where to save the document. You see there's always tooltips. Okay, you see all the formats you can select. I click here on doc path because I want to generate the documents and store them in the same folder. So this folder is not existing yet. I have only one folder in there, that's the employee pics. So I go / and say contracts, for example. tables \. Then I want to name the document now with first name, last name of the employee. So I select insert data field and say first name underscore, for example, and last name. So I have a dynamic naming as well, and I say .pdf. We wanted to have a PDF, and that's it. So I click OK. That was it. I close this one here, and now I can generate my contract, 3 contracts with just one click. You see there, save 3 documents as blah 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 in the employee contract, blah blah blah, and name it like this. Click on Start. The document will be generated, and you see it is done in a second. You can also generate 1,000 documents or 100,000 per hour. So our server will manage that without any problems. Here's my contracts folder, and you see there are all the documents. This is Bernard, 25 hours, so the text is included, of course. And here Selena, she is working 20 hours without the text before. So there's a little contract, and that was the employee, the bulk letter scenario. Good, then we have only 2 more things to do. I would like to show you dynamic tables and barcodes, how you can include barcodes. And then we managed to do this every topics in nearly half an hour. So let me open a new document. I call this list or something, emp list. We will open a new document. What I can always do is I can generate a new data map and store it here, but I can use the same one for different documents, and this is what I'm doing right now. But be careful, if you change your data map, then of course it is affected for all your documents. They are linked with the data map. So just to know about that. But in this case, it doesn't matter because I don't need this data map anymore. I click on open and have my contract data map here, click OK. But here is still the bulk letter configured, and I don't want this bulk letter here. I want to have the normal list. And so I select this one and say delete and close this one and say save, link it to my document, and now it's done. I have the same Excel list connected already. So here it is. What I would like to do is I would like to list something. And we always recommend if you list something, then use a table, and you can hide the table, of course, then. So this is very good. So we go here with the ID, for example. We say name and let's say image. And this is the entire thing is our employee list. Here the ID is supposed to be a barcode. And I double tap here ID, and then you see I can add a barcode. So I can convert it to a barcode, click on barcode, and then you have 30 or 40 barcodes of the box. Just give it a name, something like 30, and give it a dimension, click OK, and now it's defined. The ID is defined as a barcode, pretty easy. And there is the first name, also the last name, for example, and then I would like to add the image. It's a little recap. What do I have to do? Click on type, click on image, say a dimension. This one we make it a little bit bigger, let's say 200. And now I just have to add the doc path again because we have it in the same direction. Click OK. And now it comes. We want to have it dynamic. So we want to have all the employees listed. I just select this row and say in our add-in automate range again. This we notice with the conditions, but here it's a repeat for data source. This is where you can select which one you want to have to repeat it, and it's our Excel employee list, so it will be repeated all our employees. I click on generate, and here it is. Good. That was a lot. I know here is the tutorials button, and you see there are a lot of sample templates. What I would want to give you in this webinar is I wanted to give you the tools to understand the basics, the very, very basics of dox42 add-in, and then you can just click here. For example, if you need a real contract, click here, you will click on desktop, and then the folder will be downloaded, and you will get the entire document with all the data sources, and you can really work with the documents and also with your own. You understand the logic behind it. Now you understand how it works, the input parameters, and so on. So this is the way how to move on right now. And it leads me to one more thing. I have 2 more slides for you because we are doing this weekly. we have this webinars weekly. The dox42 class, it is just to give you information about our add-ins. You see there next time is on the 6th, there's the CRM solution. If you're CE, working with CE, just have a look at it. Lisa will do this. Our colleague Johannes will do the class of questions. So that means send us your questions and your wishes. We will talk about all this. Johannes will go through it. And there is the SharePoint app configuration. If you're working with SharePoint, we have a new SharePoint app. I will show you how to configure it. And if you go further, I would love to get some feedback from this webinar. If you need them, do you have any wishes? Is there everything clear? Visit our website, download your free trial, and if you have any questions, just send us an email to info@dox42.com. It is, 30 minutes on the point. So let me see if there are any questions. No, I know I was very quick. I'm so sorry for that, but I wanted to bring you valuable content, very informative, and I hope that helped, and you will get the recording afterwards, of course, so you can always have a look again. And so I wish you nice, I say thank you so much and wish you have a nice week. Bye-bye, all the best.